Your Honor, I'm my mom's lawyer. The courtroom went absolutely silent. Everyone froze, eyes widening in disbelief as the small voice echoed through the grand chamber. The judge, an older man with glasses perched on his nose, looked down over the bench, scanning the room until his gaze landed on a little black boy, no older than 11, standing bravely beside his mother. Gasps broke out across the courtroom. Lawyers clutched their files. The opposing attorney nearly dropped his pen. A child, in a crisp but slightly oversized suit, stood confidently, as if he had been preparing for this very moment his whole life. His mother, exhausted and trembling, reached for his hand, whispering, "Sweetheart, you don't have to." But he shook his head firmly. "I'm ready, Mom. I've studied every book you gave me. I know your case better than anyone." The judge blinked, unsure whether to scold the boy or let him speak. The bailiff shifted nervously, but there was something powerful, something unshakable in the child's eyes. And so began a case that would shock not only the courtroom, but the entire nation. To understand why that boy was standing there, you have to know his mother's story. Her name was Danielle Johnson, a hard-working single mom raising her son, Malik, in a small apartment on the south side of town. Danielle worked 2 jobs, one at a diner during the day, another cleaning offices at night. Life wasn't easy, but she was determined to provide Malik with stability, love, and education. But then came the lawsuit. Danielle's landlord, a wealthy man with connections in City Hall, accused her of breaking her lease, claiming she owed thousands in damages that weren't real. Worse, he wanted her evicted, along with Malik. He didn't care that she always paid rent on time, that she never missed a bill, that she followed every rule. To him, she was just another single mom he thought he could bully into submission. Danielle tried to get a lawyer, but with her limited income, every attorney turned her away. "Too expensive," they said, or "This case is too messy." That's when Malik stepped in. From a young age, Malik loved books, especially law books. At the public library, while other kids read comics, he devoured case studies and legal arguments. Danielle used to joke, "One day, baby, you'll be the lawyer who makes things right." But neither of them imagined that day would come so soon. Every night, while Danielle cried over bills and court summons, Malik sat at the kitchen table, studying legal documents with determination far beyond his years. He memorized statutes, learned courtroom procedures, and practiced opening statements in the mirror. When the court date arrived, Danielle had planned to face it alone, but Malik had another plan. And so, in front of the entire courtroom, he declared himself her lawyer. The judge cleared his throat. "Young man, do you even know what you're saying?" Malik nodded confidently. "Yes, Your Honor. My mom can't afford a lawyer. But I studied. I know the truth. Please just let me speak." The judge, torn between the law and compassion, finally said, "Very well, but understand, this is highly irregular." The opposing lawyer smirked, whispering to his client, "This is a joke. We'll crush them." But it was no joke. When Malik began his opening statement, the entire courtroom leaned in. His voice trembled at first, but then grew stronger with each word. "Your Honor, my mother is being treated unfairly. The landlord claims she caused damages, but I have proof, photos, receipts, and witnesses that show otherwise. My mom has worked hard all her life. She deserves respect, not lies." Gasps echoed again as Malik pulled out a binder, organized with evidence he had prepared himself. Danielle stared in shock. She hadn't even known he gathered so much. The opposing lawyer laughed at first, but as Malik began presenting receipts of rent paid in full, photographs of the apartment's good condition, and even statements from neighbors who supported Danielle, the lawyer's laughter died. The judge's expression changed from skepticism to intrigue. This wasn't just a boy speaking nonsense. This was a boy with brilliance. Still, the other side fought back. They threw technical terms, legal jargon, and intimidation at him. But Malik never backed down. When the lawyer accused Danielle of lying, Malik's small hands trembled, but his voice didn't. "Don't you dare call my mom a liar," he said, locking eyes with the attorney. "She raised me with honesty. She taught me to stand up for what's right, and that's exactly what I'm doing." The courtroom erupted in whispers. Even the bailiff had to hide a smile. It was David versus Goliath, except this David was an 11-year-old boy with the heart of a lion. Hours passed. The case dragged on. Everyone expected Malik to stumble, to get confused, to give up. But he kept fighting. At one point, the judge called a recess. Danielle pulled her son aside, tears streaming down her face. "Baby, you don't have to do this anymore. You've done more than enough." But Malik shook his head. "Mom, if I stop now, he wins. And we lose everything. I won't let that happen." When court resumed, something extraordinary happened. Malik turned his focus not just on the landlord, but on the lawyer himself. "Your Honor," he said, holding up documents, "I've discovered something important. The landlord's lawyer submitted false evidence. These photos of the so-called damages, they're not even from our apartment. They're from another building he owns." The judge's eyes widened. He leaned forward, examining the evidence. The opposing lawyer stammered, That's impossible." But Malik was right. Piece by piece, the boy exposed lies and corruption. His young voice carried the weight of truth. By the time he finished, the landlord sat pale and silent. The lawyer sweated profusely, his face red with embarrassment. And Danielle? She was sobbing, not out of fear anymore, but pride. Her son had done the impossible. The courtroom was silent once again as the judge leaned back, taking a deep breath. "In all my years on this bench," he said slowly, "I have never seen anything like this. A child, an 11-year-old boy, defending his mother with such skill, honesty, and bravery." He turned his gaze toward Danielle. "Mrs. Johnson, you have raised an extraordinary young man." Then the judge lifted his gavel. "This case is dismissed. The eviction is void. And as for you, sir," he said, glaring at the landlord and his attorney, "consider yourself lucky I don't recommend charges for fraud." The gavel struck. Bang! The courtroom erupted in applause. Reporters rushed forward. Strangers wiped tears from their eyes. Malik stood there stunned, then broke into the brightest smile of his life. Danielle dropped to her knees, hugging him tightly. "You saved us, baby. You really saved us." And just like that, Malik became more than just a boy. He became a symbol of hope, of courage, of the unbreakable bond between a mother and her child. News outlets ran the story for weeks. Headlines read, "Boy lawyer saves mom in court." Some called it unbelievable, others called it inspiring. But to Danielle, it was simple. Her son loved her so much. He stood up against the world to protect her. And that was something no courtroom could ever measure.